Hey everybody, welcome to Kirkham, a movie a day. It's been a while since I did a video review, so I thought I'd plug in today for a review of Annabelle Creation. And since the previous Annabelle film is one that I did a video review on, I guess it would make a nice bookend to that sort of thing. The truth of the matter is that I like horror movies. I like the Conjuring films quite well, and the creepy doll in the movie is enough to give you plenty of scares. Annabelle isn't earth-shattering. This is Annabelle Creation. It's not earth-shattering, but it is pretty solid. I think you'll find that it's an enjoyable hour and a half, and it'll give you plenty of creeps. There are a few places where there's some problems, and it's not something that I think most people will be bothered by while they're watching the movie, but afterwards it'll probably bug you a little bit. Of course, if you're one of those nitpickers who's always looking for something to be skeptical about or irritated by, then there will be a few things that will bother you. Annabelle Creation is a continuation of the so-called Conjuring universe. I guess they've created their own area here for this particular horror genre. The Annabelle doll has appeared in The Conjuring, Conjuring 2, and Annabelle. So this is the fourth film that includes this inanimate character. It does a lot of things that are similar to the Annabelle film, and it seems very disconnected from the two Conjuring films. So if you're a fan of The Conjuring, you might enjoy it, but if you like the first Annabelle film, I think you'll find this one works a lot better. There is a nice tie-in at the end of the film to the first film. People who liked it will probably appreciate that tie-in. I know that the opening of the first Annabelle film was one of the things that I like best about it, and that's the thing that is connected to this particular version of the film. Well, I don't want to give away too much in a horror film. It's best that you have some surprises, but I think anybody who's seen a trailer knows that in the story, several girls appear at a house. It's being turned into an orphanage. These girls are all, kind of in a group home, and they're being supervised by a Catholic nun who is sort of in charge. And there are two people who live in the house. Let's just say that, of course, they're a sorrowful couple that has a tragedy in their background, and it's tied into the doll. And we'll leave it as a mystery there. The girls encounter spirits, demons. There's a possession story that's part of this, and of course the Annabelle doll itself. Now I got to be honest with you, there are some of those tropes that just make me, the hair on the back of my neck crawl up and give me plenty of creep, despite whether or not a movie is well put together or not. The look of the doll, the right music, pulling back and seeing the doll having moved without seeing it move. There's a really nice effect that they have where at one point the girl tosses a sheet over the doll, and then what follows is pretty darn spooky. There are a lot of jump scares in the film, but one of the things that I like best about this particular series is that the point of the jump scares is to pay off on the tension that they've been building up. And so it's not just out of the blue, it's related to some suspense that has been developed. There are two main young girls that are part of this story, the focus of the story. One of them has been afflicted by polio, and so she has difficulty getting around, and you have one of those chairs that's designed to move you up a stairwell that's in this house, and of course that plays a central focus in one section of the film. There are a lot of horrific, like I said, possession moments in the movie. It's cut together pretty well. I thought that the music was really solid. It builds some good, frightening moments in the movie. It's, like I said, there are a couple of things about the movie that I think are a little problematic when you think about them a little bit more. Believe me, You don't have to be a little girl to be frightened of some of the events that take place in here. And if I was in this house and I encountered those things, I would have wet myself, fallen down on the ground, crying and screaming, and run out as fast as I could. But of course, these girls don't do that. They often continue to investigate and stay in the rooms that they're not really supposed to be in the first place. So, you know, it does stretch credulity a little bit that the girls behave in the way they do. I think that the story of the couple and how the doll figures into these events gets a little bit less attention than it needed. There's a setup at the beginning that I think is pretty good, but when we get to the reveal about what's going on, it happens so quickly and is done so fast that I don't think it pays off as well as it needs to. One of the things that I thought that was a fault in Annabelle was the appearance of a dark demon in the film. And I will tell you that those dark demon images appear again in this film. And it is the one place in the film where I don't think the frights work very well. Other than that, you'll get plenty of creeps. You'll have, like I said, the hair on the back of your neck raise up a little bit. There are a couple of jumps that will get you going. As a story, I don't think it holds together nearly as well as the Conjuring stories do. And although the girls are very good in their parts, the characters, they're not as compelling as they need to be. We know that ultimately they are there to be victims of this haunting, so to speak. And so we know to some degree what's coming. Now there is, like I said, there is a nice payoff at the end, so that's a little bit different, and I appreciated that a little extra bit that they did. By the way, there is a tie-in with kind of one of the creepy characters that appeared, I believe, in the last Conjuring film. And my daughter says that this same figure is in some of the Insidious pictures, the Marilyn Manson style nun character. So I don't know how that's going to tie into other parts of the film, but it looks like that's going to be a continuing thing in this so-called Conjuring universe. So if you found it creepy before, you'll probably find it creepy here. There's one of those effects that was similar to what we saw in The Conjuring 2, when the body is twisting, like the Crooked Man effect that was in that film. We see that a couple of times in this movie, and again, it works pretty well. It'll give you the heebie-jeebies. So as a scare film, it's pretty solid. As a movie, maybe a little bit less strong and consistent than it could be. It's the kind of thing that on a summer afternoon you'll probably enjoy, get some scares from, but it's not going to linger. If I was ranking all of these films, I'd say The Conjuring is the strongest one. The Conjuring 2 is the second strongest. This would be better than the original Annabelle, and so maybe put them in that particular order. If you know these films and like this kind of thing, that ought to give you enough information to decide whether or not you want to see it. All right, well, thanks for sticking with me for a full 10 minutes. Next time it'll probably just be a written review of the next film, but you never know when these videos might pop up again. Thanks again. Bye.